Aries, October 2023 promises to be a pretty powerful month as Lord Mars, your ruler, is moving into his home sign of Scorpio for the first time in 2 years. But he will also be invisible, and you need to take note. I'll be telling you why as we get going. And you've got some extremely rare action by Mars that you haven't seen like since 1987 and 95 and 1999. So this is a very take heed month for you, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. But mostly, I think it's going to be very good for you. So let's start off with a simple idea here that, oh, by the way, if you're new to my channel, I'm Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and whole sign houses. Please try me out, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, okay? Also, there are 2 eclipses in the month of October, and I'm having a free webinar. Come join me for that 90-minute webinar. You can get the replay if you can't be there live. I'm doing it in October. Description box below tells you when. Sign on up, learn how to use the sky to your benefit, and ride the waves of change that these eclipses are bringing into each of our lives. All right, so let's move into the month ahead. Blah. I'm recording this the 3rd time, guys, because I'm having a really weird day. So first of all, Mars is your guide. He's moving out of the sign of Libra and into Scorpio later in the month, October 12th. And that's going to be a big deal for you. And what it really means is that you're going to start to feel a very different energy in the sky. And you're going to note that you feel different because he's invisible. And we're really starting here before we go chronological, because an invisible Mars, October, November, and December, for anyone who's Aries or Scorpio, means that you need to take note. You cannot make major decisions and take bold action and brand new initiative very well here. You can try, but you have the Lord of your sign out to lunch and off duty. Now, invisibility doesn't mean impotency or he's not working for you. He's working in a different, subtle way, like the dream time of the Aboriginal Australians. He's working in the underneath the matrix code to help you. And in your case, your 8th house of chunky money is where he's doing his handiwork. Now, chunky money is inheritance money, bank loans, mortgage shared resources, mortgages, credit cards, money that you don't earn, unearned income, and resources that you can source from other people. Passive income, royalty income is included, and many different kinds of income. And so basically it's just not your paycheck. And as he goes through there in his invisibility, and later on, not quite yet, but in November around the 17th, we'll go into the heart of the sun for a rebirth. That means you're having a big, rare rebirth of the way you handle your chunky money in your life and how you can resource more success there by making significant keyword Mars changes. If you don't listen to the changes he's asking you to do, you might find yourself frustrated or challenged. So this is going to be an important time for you in the month of October as you get ready for that rebirth of your chunky money directions in the month of November. The other thing I want to talk about here is that Mars is also going to make contact with planets such as Saturn, which is going to be very positive for you in a way we haven't seen for quite a few years. So let's go going down into the individual chronology in this pithy fast video about the month ahead. And if you want much more detailed content, you must subscribe to my channel, because that's when I do every little thing that happens in the sky in great detail for all signs, including the minor asteroids. So here we have the story here of the beginning of the month. Mercury is finishing his 2-month stay in the sign of Virgo, forming a trine to Pluto in your house of career. Genius ideas may be coming to you, exciting ways to increase your wealth, new business partnerships, new collaborations, or more success in how you market, sell, and communicate with a client or audience space. Pluto is powering you up to greater success financially, and Mercury Pluto can be a very big time of new contracts, negotiations, and deals. Signing a new job contract, getting any kind of new commercial success, basically. And you're really starting to feel that basically October 1st through to the 3rd. That's when that window of Mercury trine Pluto is really sweetly active in your sky. Just watch out for that opposition at the same time to Neptune. And that can be maybe being a little bit confused or deluded or uncertain about 12th house situations, including revenue from foreign shores and lands, payment processors, or things to do with health and work routines. You may be asked to really focus on October 1st to the 3rd, how you do your health and work routines in order to benefit your career path and maybe clean it up a bit, especially if you are running into addictions or escapist tendencies in the first week of October. As we move onward through the month in a chronological order as best I can, October 8th, the 8th to the 10th, Mars moving through the sign of Libra, because he's not in Scorpio, remember, till the 12th of October. Moving through the sign of Libra, late degrees will square Pluto. Now, that's Pluto in your career house squaring Mars in your significant other, clients, and audience house. And it may not be about you. It may be about the other person in your life having some really difficult circumstance or challenging events, whether that's your love partner, business partner, clients, or audience members. But if it is about you, you may find that there is something you need to address in your significant relationships that is going to be very intense around that time. If you have to address something that's very intense around that time, it's really a bit of a tension between what you're doing in your public reputation and career zone and what your significant partners and mates in life are expecting of you. It could look like a very big control and struggle about control and who's in charge, who's got all the power. So be careful for that. At the same time, you also have Venus in an opposition to Saturn, October 8th to the 10th. And ooh, that's not easy either. Saturn is moving through Pisces. That's Venus's exaltation home, where she really loves to be the diva and the vixen and really gets a lot of power there. And she's in an opposition to Saturn in that place for her. And she's in Virgo. And that is an interesting dynamic for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, because it goes across the 6th house 12th house axis. And it literally can look like you are coming into some kind of critical turning point regarding pets, tenancies, and rentals, things to do. I'm talking 6th house things to do with your work and health routines. And you're really having to come to terms with making some commitments to stabilize it, to bring it into greater security and form, because this Venus-Saturn stories want enduring, lasting results, but also this is a hard aspect because Saturn's busy doing his thing and Venus is doing her thing, and they have to come to terms with some mutual agreement. Oppositions are allowing them to see the differences and try to find the common ground. Venus might want you to engage in a lot of pleasure in your 6th house. That could be leisure, pleasure, or just fun or enjoyment of the colleagues, co-worker space, or your daily habits around your work and health at the expense of what Saturn wants for you, which is to really solidify and stabilize the end of addictions, a more solid path to income based on foreign shores, foreigners, and foreign countries, and bed pleasures. Saturn wants to stabilize your bed pleasures in the 12th house, and Venus is too busy working, but having fun doing it. So find that balance point on the 8th to the 10th of October. On October the 12th to the 14th, we're going to experience something we haven't seen since 1995, and before that 1965, and before that 1937. And that's going to be your Lord Mars in a trine flow triangle to Saturn. Wow, Mars is now in Scorpio as of the 12th, so 12th to the 14th. He's in an early Scorpio, trining retrograde Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Well, in general, is this going to feel good? Mars and Saturn in a flow can be hard work and achievement and results being guaranteed in your story. Money results, most likely. Saturn is working behind the scenes on your behalf with backroom deals and negotiations that could benefit your career, especially. And you also may derive a lot of revenue from foreign shores and countries for some of you. Possibly, but don't forget Saturn in the 12th house is hospitals, insane asylums, and prisons. And with that trine to Mars from the 8th house, there are positive developments in those themes as well in your life, if those themes are relevant. Mars trining from the 8th house could also liberate money for you to travel to a foreign shore. But if you do foreign shore travel, that Saturn suggests you're going back to a place you've been before because of its retrogradation, and may even karmically feel connected to. Finally, Mars trining Saturn from the 8th house to 12th house is a soul work energy. You may be going very deep in this window of October 12th to the 14th in terms of going past the beyond the veil and moving into a deeper metaphysical, paranormal phase of time between October 12 and 14. Don't you go back to 1995 or 1965, and this energy happened then. Moving into the middle of the month, or a little bit later anyway, October the 19th through the 21st. Now, this is a cazimi of Mercury in the heart of the sun. For example, this happens quite often. It's pretty exact on the 20th. It happens 6 times a year, but it's still powerful because Mercury in the heart of the sun is also perfectly conjunct the asteroid Persephone, the goddess of the underworld and the queen of the underworld. But she was also, it's about victimization and moving from being victimized because she was abducted and brought to the underworld into a place of triumph and power, among many other meanings. So you may find at this time, October 19th and the 20th, Mercury conjunct the sun while in a square to Pluto could feel a little bit gnarly. Mercury conjunct the sun in this window of time is going to perhaps, because I'm going to try to suss this out for you, in the sign of Libra, be a really big, powerful reset of something you're trying to create or do in your business model with your clients, your audience, a marketplace, or with your significant other. It's like a reset odometer button as Mercury becomes reborn here, October 19th to the 21st, and you're resetting those agendas. Now, just because Persephone is here, it may be a feeling of being, pulled a little bit into a place of abduction or something, but then also finding yourself empowered because of it. And that could be about the audience, client, marketplace, rather maybe than your significant other, or they may be going through a downdraft and you're witnessing it as well. At the same time, this is a cazimi happening in the sky. It's also going to be kind of the sort of event where if you want to use it, you can download new ideas and new insights from the universe on the 20th of the month of October in particular that can incredibly power up anything to do with success through the words audience, clients, marketplace, or bring an amazing new client to you or customer to you with an incredible idea of some sort. That's just one way it could possibly play out, because the seventh house is not all about you. Now, I want to make sure I don't miss anything on that one, because you're my first one I'm doing it with. So I'm like, oh yeah, the cazimi is at the 26th degree of Libra. So if you're an Aries sun or moon, with your Aries sun or moon near 26 degrees of Libra on either side, then that's going to be also something you need to take note of as exceptionally important in your sky, more so than every other Aries. Now that square to Pluto, because Mercury and the sun cazimi are on the south node opposite the north node in the Libra Aries axis in a square to Pluto, intensifies the T-square, intensifies this cazimi and makes it a humdinger. Some of this is going to be about a new level of career success in the couple of months after this cazimi for you. So you may want to harness that and go for it, because you will feel something is really increasing here in that regard. October the 21st to the 24th of the month. Now, when we look at Venus trining Jupiter, we always think happy, successful, lucky, prosperous energy. And so this is one of the highlights of the month. And even October 21st to the 24th, there's a sun trining Saturn at the same time. So it's a very sweet spot in the sky for everyone. Where Venus is in a trine to Jupiter in your sky is from Virgo 6th house, where she's trying to make the work fun for you, trining Jupiter in your earnings house. This is getting that job raise or promotion. This is an increase in worth and value by something you're doing in the workspace and career space, job space kind of thing. It's really good also for improving your health if it revolves around changing the foods you eat and having ease and flow regarding that. It's particularly auspicious for contracts. If you want to get a new agreement or contract to get hired or hire someone or employ someone, this is wonderful because Juno is tracking with her in Virgo. So new agreements, contracts, jobs, hiring, all of that is looking really good on you. And some of it with Jupiter retrograde is going back over job opportunities or earning strategies that you've had before. And they're really picking up some potential momentum, as I said, October 21st to the 24th, with that sun in the sign of Scorpio in a trine to Saturn. We also see that you are being really highly benefiting from solar figures. These are powerful, dynamic clients or business partners or audience people or marketplace people. You're shining brightly in that part of the sky. And at the same time, you are able to resource things that Saturn would have you succeed in through international revenue, foreign shores, business abroad, and bed pleasures. Basically, October 21st to 24th, some of you are having some superior bed pleasures, but with Saturn and especially retrograde, that's very traditional. Okay, we're not talking about going to the kink store or something like that. Moving on to the end of the story here for the month, rounding it up. Venus is in Virgo. I didn't like sort of cover that because you're not Venus ruled individual, but she is there all through the month starting October the 8th. And I just want to highlight that a little bit later here because we're talking about Venus to say something along the lines of, have you noticed, will you have noticed, probably you will, Aries, that after October the 8th, you're working more and you're playing less. And Venus here, October 8th through to November 8th in Virgo, leaving your fun, play, pleasure, delight, sexuality, and romance house, even entrepreneurial success, coming into your sixth house is making you work hard, but she's working you in a Virgoian manner, right? She's trying to find how those applied practical details and service orientation towards your work can bring greater joy, because don't forget, she is trining Pluto throughout her story as she moves through the sign of Virgo. And at the very end of the month, like the last day of October, she comes into a trine to Uranus, bringing sudden monetary, exciting success. Yes, through your work part of your sky. Lastly, at the end of the month, October 27th to the 30th, get ready, get set, go. You have a Mars conjunct Mercury narrative. And as Mars and Mercury come into a conjunction in the sign of Scorpio, they're also opposite Jupiter in your earnings house. And that's a tension that is something to do with how you wish to reconcile your abundance, your earnings, your spending, your financial growth and prosperity, which are guaranteed, by the way, until the end of May next year, thanks to Jupiter. You're trying to reconcile some of that and deal up some of that, but also paying attention to the 8th house money stories. Mars, cut and sever, Mercury, knowledge, ideas, but also markets, stock markets. So October 27th to the 30th, buying and selling stocks could be something you're up to, but also maybe eliminating wastage, cutting out debt, refinancing, consolidating credit cards, and for some of you, maybe even selling a property. Also, finally, some of you, maybe October 30th, 27th to 30th, may hear of some financial opportunity through the word inheritance. And that is just one of those things that happens in life. Yeah, I'm rubbing my neck. Sorry, guys. I'm in the middle of trying to adjust my neck from chiropractic. All right, so that's everything. Anything else I wanted to say? I didn't mention Mercury's transit particularly, but just know that October 5th to the 21st, while he is in the sign of Libra, communications, contracts, negotiations, and deal making are favored. So just keep that in mind. That's when you have really good superpowers to get those things accomplished in your sky. And then he's going to move out of there and into Scorpio. And that's, as I said, the 8th house chunky money story. Thanks for listening, guys, on the third recording today. I'm recording on September 20th. My Patreon community gets this early access ad-free ahead of time. If that interests you, for $5 a month, check it out. Plus, I have a promotion this month. Join my Patreon community, get 2 free courses that I've taught on relationship synastry and Chiron, your key to purpose. They are for sale, and now they're free if you join Patreon in the month of September. I'll get that earring fix eventually. Thanks, everyone. Take care. I will see you, hopefully, for the eclipse webinar on October the 3rd. Come on, sign up and join me. I think it'll be amazing. I put a lot of work into creating it. Ciao, ciao.